Want to get out to DeSantis with a very important briefing right now here. He's in Punta Gorda.
Electrical, the power, they're all here. We have Eric Szilagyi from Florida Power and Light, which he'll give an update on what they're doing. But from the minute they could get in here, they've been in here working on being able to get people connected again. I've talked to two of the major CEOs for the telecom companies about their restoration services. And fortunately, some of their infrastructure has done okay. They do more our DEM is also putting the mobile cell phone towers to be able to help restore communications, and we've got an inordinate amount of food and water that is either here or is very close on the way. Life safety, of course, is critical. Anyone stranded on one of those barrier islands want to make sure that they're safe. And I know here in Charlotte, any of the neighborhoods that experienced a lot of wind or water damage, these folks are there. They're working to make sure people are safe, and that is true in Lee and Collier County as well. So that's really, really important. We also got to just stabilize the area with these key services, and so we've got a huge amount of resources that have been brought to bear to be able to do that, and we're going to continue doing it. This is going to be a 24/7 operation because we realize how important it is. We also understand there's a lot of people that have asked what they can do to help the people of the state of Florida, particularly down in this region. And the First Lady will talk in a minute, but we have a fund, FloridaDisasterFund.org, FloridaDisasterFund.org. You text disaster to 20222. You can make a contribution. And at the end of the day, we've got supplies that have been pre-staged that are being used, and that's important. We don't necessarily need people to send us stuff. What we need is to be able to help those relief organizations help the folks. I mean, we're surveying the damage right now. Some people that evacuated, they're going to go back and look at their homes and see, is there flood damage? Is there wind damage? Is it going to be habitable? And so all those things, as those happen, we're going to get a clearer picture of some of the unique needs that individuals in this region may have. And so your financial contribution can make a world of difference. And so we're happy that so many people have done. I think we're over $2 million already within less than 24 hours, and I know many more people want to do. But I'm really impressed with the resiliency that we're seeing here in Charlotte County. This is not anything anyone wanted to deal with. I mean, if you go back 72 hours before landfall, most of Southwest Florida was not even in the cone, and then you have a situation where you're staring down the barrel of a hurricane making landfall at 155 miles an hour. So the response here and just the way people have reacted has been very, very impressive, and we understand this is just the beginning. There's a lot more that's going to need to be done, and the state of Florida is going to be good partners with the folks here at the local level. I'm going to let the First Lady talk about relief efforts, and then we'll have Kevin Guthrie, and then Eric Szilagyi from FP&L will give an update on the power situation.
No, I just have to echo that. We are just so proud of the people of Southwest Florida, the resiliency and the courage and strength that you're exhibiting, the people here at the Emergency Operations Center, and frankly, people across the state of Florida. We just couldn't be not more proud of what you have done to support your fellow Floridians and also the people across the country. So the governor mentioned a second ago the Disaster Recovery Fund, disasterrecoveryfund.org. You can donate there. It's a 501c3. Why that's important, again, is because we can take those resources and micro-target them and get them directly to the ground as quickly and efficiently as possible. As I said this morning, and I reiterate this, we are going to cut through any red tape and bureaucracy because we know people need those funds and they need help. And so we're really committed to making sure that we do that. The other thing is you can text disaster to 20222. Those funds will obviously go to the same spot, and we'll be able to deploy those resources very quickly. But again, on behalf of the state of Florida and the governor, myself, all the people, the first responders, the EOC, thank you to the people across the state and the country for stepping up big. We are at $1.6 million, less than 24 hours after we launched the fund. That was at 8 a.m. this morning. We are well over $2 million as of a little while ago, and I think we're going to have even more funds at the end of the day. And again, that goes directly to the great people here in Southwest Florida and all the way across the state. So God bless you.
Yeah, thanks. And some of the responders who were ready, the storm has got to go before you can really get in there because it's very hazardous. And some of these guys are coming across Alligator Alley like midnight, like literally knocking on the door of tropical storm to be able to get in and help people. And so you look at these USAR teams that we've had over from Miami-Dade. We want to thank them, thank the National Guard, thank the Coast Guard. They've been able to do a lot of successful missions already, and it's really been great to see everybody working together. Part of the reason that happens is because of the coordination at the state level, and that's under the direction of Kevin Guthrie, who's our Emergency Management Director, and he's going to provide an update.
All right, thank you, Governor. So I got here first thing with the governor. Obviously, talked to Sheriff Promo, talked to the fire chief, talked to Emergency Management Director Patrick Fuller. Obviously, everyone very thankful of the resources that have been provided. There were a couple of handful of missions that have just come up in the last couple of minutes. I'm proud to report that we are already mobilizing personnel for those missions, and also providing the resources. One of those is a generator, so that has already been sourced and already being mobilized. So we hope to have that here by midnight tonight on the generator at a minimum. The mechanic for the generator that's in question, that is having some issues, is already only 30 minutes out. So I'm very, very proud of the men and women in our logistics section, specifically at the Florida Division of Emergency Management. They have been very, very flexible, and they have been very, very responsive, and far exceeding our expectations in a normal disaster like this. So to have a mechanic almost 30 minutes away when you make a request about an hour ago is just fantastic. So again, that comes from great leadership, and it starts with the governor, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Great. Part of the preparations for this storm was to have as many resources pre-staged that could go in and help with critical infrastructure like power. And we were able to go meet with some of the linemen up in Lake City in North Florida, thank them. These are people coming from all over the country. I mean, they're coming from Louisiana, Alabama, Texas, and we had over 42,000 at landfall. I'm sure there's more in the state right now. When we were going back to Tallahassee from Lake City, you saw truck after truck after truck on I-10 eastbound coming in to be able to help respond to this. And part of the reason we're able to do that is because we've got a lot of utilities that this isn't their first rodeo. They take this very seriously. They learn from past storms.
We're listening to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis, and the governor saying this will be a 24/7 operation as the cleanup from Hurricane Ian is just beginning. But Ian, unfortunately, is not done yet. It is going to strengthen again much more on American agenda now.
So we have deployed across the state of Florida. Just to remind you, the storm is still battering the northeast part of the state. Daytona is being hit right now. We have about 1.2 million customers who are out of power, but we have been able to restore over 700,000 customers before the storm has even left the state, and we're going to continue to work 24/7 to do so. I'm actually pleased with parts of the system that I've seen a little bit further to the west of here is in good shape. At FPL, we did not lose one single transmission tower, so that is critical. The backbone is up and operational. We are now in the process of getting the distribution system back up and the substations that had flying debris go into them cleared out so we can get them back online. There are sections of our territory close to the beach along the Barrier Islands that will require rebuilding. There are some destructive areas that simply cannot be repaired, and they'll have to be rebuilt. Unfortunately, there are also homes and businesses that will simply not be able to safely take the power once it's ready. But the 20,000 plus men and women who are already here are staging and getting out in the field currently. They will work 24/7 until we get the lights back on. Again, as the governor said, not our first rodeo, but every storm is also different and always poses different challenges. But appreciate all the support from the state. Governor, thank you. From local law enforcement as well, the National Guard. This is a team sport and a team effort, and we're going to all work together until we get Florida back up on her feet and where we all want her to be. Thank you.
And when when FPL and the other companies have crews in, the extent to which that infrastructure has remained is just critical, because it's a lot easier for them to reconnect an existing system than to have to rebuild it. So to see some of that that was able to withstand is encouraging. It's also just a testament. I mean, you know, some of these folks put money into the resilience of the infrastructure, and this is like the ultimate test. I mean, you got a hurricane that's a massive hurricane coming in at 155 miles an hour, producing this type of storm surge, dumping rain, causing flooding. If you can make it through that, then you probably did it pretty good. And so this is a 24/7 effort to stabilize and to restore. And so we're going to do whatever we can to assist with that effort. And so I'm happy to take a few questions.
Governor, in our area, Sanibel Island, Fort Myers Beach, the images are devastating. And we know that from our local agencies.
We are watching Governor DeSantis in Florida as they deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. We don't want to ignore the fact that the hurricane was downgraded to a tropical storm, but is out over the Atlantic and now may be strengthening once again, heading into Georgia as well as South Carolina. Yeah. But they're in the process right now of assessing what's the damage, how many lives have been lost, how do they clear out, repair and reconnect the grid, the electrical grid, to get people back on board. And then there are causeways and other areas, roads that have been damaged, possibly won't be able to get to certain islands or certain locations without that repair. So this is just the initial stages of dealing with it.
And Governor Ron DeSantis saying this is a 24/7 effort to stabilize and restore. And again, that is just getting, as you pointed out, the grid up and running, and then they'll have to continue to assess the damage. We're hearing it's catastrophic.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to be showing you throughout the program some of the video that we're getting in of damage that has been done. Florida is a huge state. I mean, I remember the first time I got there and entered Florida, it was like, well, it's another 6 or 7 hours to get down to this is a large geographical area. So Ian came across the center of it. It entered right around Fort Myers and then across and out the other side. So a lot of people have been affected by this. And because 2.5 million customers are without electrical power, we don't know exactly what the damage is so far.
Exactly. Just waiting to restore that grid again, and then more efforts will continue, again, to assess the damage, as Bob pointed out. Yeah.
Let's talk more about what's happening with the Ian, the death toll in Florida. They're figuring this out. They believe in the hundreds again. We don't know yet. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but that is part of what could be developing. Ian is one of the strongest hurricanes to ever hit the United States, certainly Florida, causing catastrophic flooding there with more than 2.5 million people without power. And Ian is not done yet. Yeah,
we're going to find out what Ian is continuing to do now, as we're checking in with our meteorologist, Mike Masco, with the latest. Mike, what are you tracking now with Ian?
Well, guys, I just got the new 2 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. This is yet another advisory that has a bullet point saying life-threatening flooding, storm surge, and strong winds are expected for Georgia and the Carolinas now. So this is almost a completely new kind of Ian that we'll be seeing moving into the Carolinas and into Georgia by tomorrow. In fact, notice on satellite, we now have the eye of the system, or the center of the system, just off the Space Coast. There's one thing to note about this area. The Gulf Stream runs right in here and then goes all the way up towards Greenland. This is some of the warmest water, the second area around Florida where we have the warmest water on the planet. That is a tropical heat conveyor belt that goes all the way up to the northern latitudes. What this storm will do in the next 12 hours is tap into that energy, and we think, and the National Hurricane Center thinks, that this will redevelop into another hurricane once again. So right now, tropical storm Ian, I do foresee the 5 p.m. advisory upgrading this to maybe a Category 1 hurricane, and that is just impressive. And then another landfall expected across the Carolina coastline as we go into tomorrow. In fact, storm details by 2 o'clock on Friday, we could be talking here on Newsmax, could be talking about another landfall right around Charleston, South Carolina. Winds at 50 to 70 miles an hour. Coastal gusts could get around 70, and we're also forecasting another storm surge of around 4 to 6 feet possible, and water spouts that'll be coming ashore as that makes landfall.